Nelson, alcoholic addict. That's not my real name. That's my newsletter name that I use here at LOL Sober. On Monday, large chunks of the social media landscape crashed, and everybody was talking about it. There've been quite a few headlines recently about social media anyway, that the way that it impacts people, the way disinformation can flow pretty freely, and so on. Just lots of chatter about the impact of social media anyway. So a large crash, it was bound to generate lots of conversation and plenty of headlines, and it did. It was also an opportunity for me to be grateful about my own lack of social media use. I don't have anything against it. Let me just say that up front. Like, go for it. I am on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Twice, actually. I have one account under my real name. And then I use Facebook especially to promote comedy events because it really works. It really gets people to come out and see shows. So I do use it. And then I have accounts for Nelson H. Again, not my real name. But I have accounts for Nelson H on all of these platforms to promote my sober newsletter, put out jokes, that kind of stuff. So I'm plugged in. I guess I'm a hypocrite there a little bit because I am a part of all of these things. I'm not some monk that isn't aware that Twitter exists. So far from it. But I also try to not be plugged in. About 10 years ago, I first got on social media and I liked it. I liked it too much, in fact. I found myself really getting wrapped up in how many likes and retweets and replies that I got. And it was in a way that reminded me immediately that I am an addict. My addictive personality, it never limited itself to drugs and alcohol anyway, in sobriety or not in sobriety. It was never just those two things. Because for me, if something's good, then 5 of that thing must be even better. So it shows up in my life on a regular basis in 2 different ways. One is the online world. It can be very addictive to have 29 people retweet something or like something on Instagram or whatever. Because you start thinking, if 29, why not 30? Why don't I have 30? How do I get to 30? I need 30. How do I get 30? The other place that it pops up for me is food. You have to eat, right? And I'm the kind of person who finishes a reasonable dinner and then heads for the cookies. And I'll pull out 2 cookies and immediately think, well, 2, I can't, these are delicious. I need 3. So I grab a third. And then I think, I probably have room for 4 or 5, don't I? Pretty soon I'm at 6 cookies and I'm trying to get out of the room before I grab a 7th. And, in some ways it's weird. It's like I have eaten the cookies before I've actually eaten them. But then I do actually eat them all, and I feel bad about myself. I feel like I ate too many, that I should have just had 4, that I need to do better tomorrow, and I start beating myself up. And it's the same vicious cycle that I used to go through with drugs and alcohol. I would plan them, and then I would get them, and then I would consume them, and then I would worry that I don't have enough. I would worry that I took too many. It was a mess. It was a losing battle over and over and over again. And luckily, I was able to spot early on that social media is not a good place for me, just me, to hang out. And let me say very clearly again, that's just me. That's a personal decision, works for me. I don't prescribe it to anybody else. Lots of people, they love social media, they get lots out of it, and that's fantastic. Go for it. It just doesn't work for me. It's when it's an outsized part of my life. One thing I specifically think about a lot is I do not miss getting in fights online with people. I have almost none of that. And I used to love it, especially people I didn't know. I remember thinking there's no repercussions to just destroying some random guy about a political issue or fantasy baseball or health or anything really. I thought it was just harmless verbal bickering. But it wasn't harmless because I saw it harmed me. I know that it harmed me. It probably harmed others, but I know it harmed me. I would find that winning an argument on Twitter about a sports team or a political issue, it ended up being very hollow. Very hollow. It didn't improve my spiritual condition. In fact, I felt like it made my spiritual condition worse. It drained the spirituality right out of me a lot of times because I found I wasn't able to shut it off. if I'm a judgmental, argumentative, obsessive jerk on a computer, I found that I started to do it in real life too. It was hard to just shut that off. There's no button to turn off, off and on. I found it in real life. I can't be that guy, lobbing out opinions and bickering with neighbors and yelling at parents of my kids friends or my coworkers. I just can't do it. It doesn't work for me. So Monday was kind of nice, even though I don't do a lot of social media. I do some, like I said. I might not argue with people myself, but I still listen in on some really wild yelling matches between people online. So I'm at least observing still. And so Monday, to know that it was unavailable, it was kind of nice. I went out, I bought a yoga mat and I meditated and I walked near a waterfall. Just kidding. I watched TV instead. So, but hey, I did only eat 3 cookies that day, I think. So this is progress, not perfection, isn't it? Thanks for letting me share.